Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you had a chance to grab lunch and you've been enjoying the conference so far. Welcome this afternoon to a session we're calling Cracking the Code with Credential Specialists. And this is a panel presentation. So I'm going to share a couple slides, but then I'm going to let our panelists take over. But we're just glad that you're here for the next hour. This is kind of where we're headed. We are going to talk a little bit about credential basics, and then we've got two breakout rooms in this session. In the first breakout room, you'll choose one of the credential rooms to join so that you can hear from one of our panelists on certified nursing assistant, community interpreter, or certified food protection manager. We'll come back together for a quick minute or two, and then we'll jump into our next breakout room. Again, you'll choose one of the three options: paraeducator, Microsoft Office specialist, or CDL. And then at the end, we'll have a few minutes to come back together and just talk kind of about future resources and next steps. So that's where we are headed. It's going to be an action-packed session. So my name is Carly Voshell, and I work with Atlas as the transitions coordinator. And I wanted to briefly introduce our credential specialists. You'll get to see them in the breakout rooms, but the story here starts about 2 years ago when we started with this group of three credential specialists: Brooke, Heather, and Julie. They have their titles and where they work below, but these people are really content area experts. They might not want to be called an expert, but that truly is what they are related to these credentials. And community interpreter, food protection manager, and CNA are common ABE credentials that students are interested in, that are happening around the state. And so that is why these credentials were selected. The idea is that it's really hard to stay on top of what is the credential, where do you get it, what curriculum is helpful, what are the go-to websites. No one person can have all that information in their head. We needed to seek out kind of these content area experts to be able to provide that for the field. And so Brooke, Heather, and Julie were hired as an Atlas consultant in FY 24, and they've done a webinar with us, some shorter presentations, and they're here with us today. And then this past year, we wanted to continue this work, kind of breaking down some of these credentials. And so Atlas hired 3 additional credential specialists. Again, we're looking at what are common credentials, what are in-demand career fields, and who is somebody that has a lot of expertise and experience in these areas to be able to answer questions about these specific credentials. So we're going to welcome Susan, Paulina, and Amanda as credential specialists. They've been working kind of behind the scenes, preparing information for the Atlas website. I think it was last week that in the MN ABE Connect, each of them had an article focused on these credentials. So we're really just developing resources to assist people in the field related to this content. So in terms of credential basics, I'm somebody who has worked in adult education for over 15 years. I feel like I know stuff about adult career pathways, but learning more and kind of digging into the basics of credentials was really kind of like a light bulb moment for me, because in the past, I am guilty of talking about certificates and licenses and credentials and kind of like using them interchangeably, right? It's a piece of paper, it's a document. They passed a test and they earned it, right? They're not all the same. And there's some great resources that are available. They're linked in these slides, which will be in the participant folder, and they are on the Atlas website. The resource on the left is a video. I think it might be 10 or 12 minutes. I've shown this in a different webinar, but in the 60 minutes we have today, we don't have time to watch that. But that's a really nice breakdown of those different terms. What I will do right now is pull up a companion resource here. This is taking us to the Atlas website where you can get to the video, and we're today going to just look at the handout. This is a really nice guide. I'm somebody, I'm in my office today at Hamlin, and would be something that I would print and hang, so I have it kind of handy because it's got the 4 different terms at the top and different characteristics, how they're the same, how they're different, who's awarding these credentials, and things like that. This is really breaking it down. The video does the same thing. It's just a different modality for you. But in general, I want you to think about the term credential as the umbrella. So if you're not sure if something is a certificate or a certification or a license or a degree, you are safe to use the term credential. So that's kind of a pro tip there. And the note that they make about certificates on these resources is that certificates can mean like so many different things. They can be industry recognized. Many of our credential specialists, the credential they're talking about is a certificate that's awarded when you pass an assessment. That's one type of certificate, but you can also just have like a certificate of participation, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it is less significant when you bring that to an employer because it isn't industry recognized. So the term certificate is kind of like the hardest to pin down because it really can mean a lot of different things in different scenarios. Now that we've kind of covered just a little bit of the basics there and given you a resource to find out more, we are going to head into our first breakout room. So you have 3 options here. You are going to pick one of them when Rachel launches. You are going to pick either community interpreter, certified nursing assistant, or certified food protection manager. When you join that breakout room, your credential specialist will be there to walk you through content. Our breakout rooms are going to be 20 minutes long, and we will see you afterwards to connect. So let's have everybody go ahead and join a breakout room. If you need to scroll down, that's where you can find the breakout rooms below the list of participants. Oh, and okay. It looks like we have community interpreter and Microsoft Office specialist and CDL. So actually, don't worry about the slide that's on the screen. We are going to go with what is down below. Thank you very much, Susan. And CDL, it looks like we're going to need Paulina and Craig to join that group in order to present.
Carly, this is Paulina. I
Hi.
cannot see the link to join the breakout room.
I think scroll down. That's where I'm finding it. Below the list of unassigned participants, we've got 3 rooms that are available now.
Do you mean scroll down in the chat, or I don't see it either?
No.
I'm looking in the chat and I'm looking in where it lists all of the different participants that are on the call, but I don't see any links or.
I have a tab that says rooms. When it pops up,
Where does it pop up? In the chat box?
no.
Yeah, we're not seeing that.
Do you have a couple of other screens potentially open? Are you using some other screens on your desktop? Because
Or let us know where you want us to assign you to and what your name is.
Yeah, it's not on there.
Hey Carly, I can't find it either, but it's Jean Zunder. Can you put us
Hi.
in this? Hi, can you put us in the certified nursing assistant?
That one is actually not available.
That
I'm
was my
sorry.
problem, sorry.
Well, there you go.
So,
It'll be the next breakout room.
Jean, would you want community interpreter, Microsoft Office specialist, or CDL?
Oh, so just do CDL. We'll do CDL, Carly. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you for being
Okay.
flexible.
And so, okay.
Let me
So,
know if anybody else needs to be assigned. We do have people moving into rooms. Lakshmi, Julie, or Jen, feel free to let us know where we can add you. You're
This is Lakshmi. I want to
Yeah.
go to the community interpreter room.
Good, thank you. Good choice.
I just put her there.
Somebody moved you.
Oh, I'm
Julie
gonna pause. Should I pause recording?
Clev? Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, so there's that website, atlasabe.org, to find out more information. You know, we had the 2 breakout rooms today, and maybe some of you are thinking, oh, I wish I could have gone to the other, another one. Go to atlasabe.org, find the credential resources there, and you can always reach out via email with one of the credential specialists. I do have an ask for everyone. The last 2 years we have hired credential specialists for 3 different areas, and we're gearing up to hire 3 more for next year. So Lydia is sharing this link in the chat, and it's actually a Google form that I'm going to ask you to fill out now. And I do just kind of want to walk you through it a little bit. So the reason we picked the credential specialists so far was because they were common credentials that are pretty popular in ABE, a good fit for students, and they're happening, right? And the way that we know they're happening is that there is data in SID where people are entering credentials met for the credentials that we heard about in this presentation. It's time to pick 3 more for next year. And so I asked the folks at SID to put together a list of how many students have a goal met for some other credentials. And these were kind of the top, 8 or 10 on here. Some of them, like personal care assistant, there is a lot of students that are earning that credential. Some are kind of just emerging and the numbers are smaller, but there is still a demand for that. What I'm asking everybody to do today is to look at the options and go ahead and select a first choice, a second choice, a third, and a fourth choice. This is just some feedback that Atlas will utilize when we decide what credential specialists to hire for this coming year. And I just have a couple other questions on this form. If you have utilized these credential resources, how have you done it? Have you shared it at a staff meeting? Have you read through some of the info sheets? Have you shared some of the articles? Have you passed along some of the information to your administrator? Those are all examples. And then I'm wondering if next year people would be interested in kind of some informal networking based on kind of career sectors that could be led by credential specialists. So I just have a question there for that. If you can respond to that form today, that would be great, just so we capture that feedback while you're thinking about credentials. And then last but not least, I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining, our participants, and for our panelists. It's not easy to put together a concise 20-minute presentation on these big complex credentials. And so it was definitely a tough task to give them. But I just want to thank our credential specialists for acting as our panel today. I want to thank Rachel and Lydia for their help behind the scenes with the breakout rooms and all of that. And I have my email address here. So if anybody has any follow-up questions for me, feel free to reach out. But we can go ahead and stop the recording.